Hello guys, welcome to another session. So today in this session, we will be focusing on a critical and unfolding global issue. That's the situation in Syria. So if you see the recent developments that have led to seismic shift in the country with the capital Damascus now under militants' control and the President Bashar al-Assad fleeing the country. So these events mark a new phase of instability with far-reaching consequences, not just for Syria, but also for the regional powers involved, such as Russia, Iran, etc. So let's try to understand this. Let's try to break this down step by step and its consequences also. See, what is this downfall all about? That's actually the reason for the entire chaos, right? So if you see the Syria's current situation is not an isolated incident, but it's a part of larger trend in the Middle East, a region that actually often, faced by and marked by its instability. So, very rich in resources like oil and natural gas, this area has long lacked peace and stability. And over the years, political unrest and the rise of militant groups have repeatedly disrupted the region. So, with Assad's government toppled, the country now faces a grim fate, the territorial fragmentation and also the international exploitation. Okay, so let's look at the US strategy here in this case. See, the events in Syria, echo a long-term strategy outlined years ago. So if you see the retired US Army General Wesley Clark famously revealed a plan involving the destabilization of 7 countries, including Iraq, Syria, Libya, Iran, like that. So, see, this plan was expected to unfold over 5 years, but its execution has spanned decades. So that left nations geopolitically weakened. And if you see Syria's fall, as highlighted by Mr. Clark, aligns with this blueprint and that make another chapter in the global strategy. Now, who benefits here? So, see, with Assad's governments out of the picture now, a scramble for Syrian territory is underway. So, militants who were once labeled as terrorists are now being, referred or reframed as rebel leaders by the global powers. So this narrative shift actually highlights how international players manipulate local conflicts for their own potential interest. So, for instance, if you see, Israel has already moved to solidify its control over disputed regions like the Golan Heights, and citing the collapse of previous arguments with Syria. So let's look at Israel move now. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu wasted no time here in capitalizing on Syria's turmoil and the situation. So he asserted the control over buffer zones in the Golan Heights. Netanyahu has openly declared this as a historic moment for Israel, and this bold move demonstrates how regional powers like Israel leverage instability in neighboring states to expand their influence and secure strategic advantages. So let's look at the global response here. See, Russia, once a stabilizing force in Syria, is now preoccupied with Ukraine conflict over there, and that is leaving a power vacuum in Syria. So the US under President Biden has remained very cautious about direct, involvement here, but future actions could involve, leveraging Syrian oil or facilitating territorial gains for allies like Turkey. So this chaotic environment is likely to lead to further fragmentation of Syria with different factions and, nations carving up Syrian territory for their own benefit in the situation. Now, what could be the future of Syria? See, the outlook of Syria is bleak, with its government displaced and external powers vying for control. The country's risk ceasing to exist as a an entity. One entity is now no more possible. It is going to be like different factions will claim the territory, and that's exactly what is actually happening. So this scenario mirrors the fate of other nations on General Clark's list that we discussed already. So the prolonged instability has rendered them these countries shadows of their former selves, right? So if you look at Iraq, that's exactly what happened, and same if you see Syria, that's what is happening now. So for Syria, the coming months will be very critical in determining whether it can survive as a sovereign state. See, now what lies ahead? The crisis in Syria is far from over. It will continue, and different factions will take the territorial claims also. So, international players also continue to influence the region. We can expect significant developments in the near future. So, this situation serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of global geopolitics and the human cost of power struggles. So, that's about this session, guys, and thank you for attending the session. If you find this video useful, you can share your thoughts in the comment section. And if you're looking for any mentorship program for civil services, I've given the details in the description. Consider subscribing that also. So see you in the next video.